I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Are you having fun? We have to have fun. We don't need another job. I love you so much. I got to tell you, the last 6 months I've had more fun than I ever have since the first 6 months. Because it is fun to build this business, and it's what I love to do. Now, I got to pay my respects to Mark Ashley. I have to thank him. I mean, what an incredible job he did. When I found this young guy, he was still in college, wet behind the ears, and he has evolved into the most incredible chief operating officer and president that one could ever hope to have. I thank him because he does it so well and runs the company so well and picks up on our mission so well and implements it that I don't have to do it anymore and I can build the business again with you like we did in the beginning. I mean, that's big. Let me hear it for Mark Ashley. Hey, thank you, Mark. But I saw him show the plan the other night. I said, my God, he did it exactly like I do. Exactly. But you got to be able to build a business to run this company. Do you agree with that? Because nobody else would ever understand. So listen, guys, I get to talk today about my very favorite topic, making money. Well, it's not quite true. It's exponentially better. I get to talk about making residual income. That's a lot bigger than just money. And I hope you know why. You know, I'm going to give to you the most important thing that you can ever learn in this business. It is the most important thing, without a doubt. And that is how to find the people to make 6 figures. How to find the people for you to go director. That's $18,000 a month. That'll upset the neighbors. That'll shut your family up. $18,000 a month. That's where life begins. You start to live. You get a little wild. You don't care what people think anymore. That's what I want for you. So how to find the people, or maybe it's not quite that simple. It's simpler. How to find the people to lead to the people who will tear it up and become directors. Because all you need is a director in each leg. Whoa, that one will hit you on the way home, huh? Stop worrying about yourself and go find a person in each leg. And I know that you would have already found them if you knew them. So you don't know them. You don't have them. Would you like to know how to find them? How we found them? I didn't know any of these people. I didn't know Dennis Franks. I didn't know Kevin Buckman. I didn't know the Bolins. I didn't know Weber. But I knew how to get the people to lead to the people. And that filled this room. Do you want to know how to do that? You see, you know, it starts out with you have to believe. But I'm not going to preach to you on that because I know you already believe. You're here. I mean, come on. You already believe. I'm preaching to the choir. I mean, who else does this in corporate America or America? Nobody. I mean, you pay your own way. You make the time, 4 or 5 days. You pay your way. You sit in a hardback chair. And what is it? $1,000, $2,000 when you add it all up? Maybe $3,000? and you sit in a hardback chair from 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning to 5 or 6 at night, then you go to breakouts till 11, and then you do hanky-panky the rest of the night. It's unbelievable. Where else in America does that happen? You're dedicated. You're an entrepreneur. You're in this for yourself. That's why you're here, you see? And I respect that. Wow. But I don't have to get you to believe. I have to get you to change. I realized it yesterday. I don't need to work on your belief. I need to get you to change. I need to get you to change what you're doing so that you'll find the right people. You're not doing something or you would already have them. Does that make sense? Okay, so you have to believe. You already believe, okay? But you see, the key to the business is this. You must succeed so that others can realize their dreams. Now, how does that work? What does that mean? Well, first of all, people don't know how to believe. They don't believe. They're skeptical about everything. And they hear about this, and they don't think it'll work. Now, they know that Weber was born that way. You know, she was hatched as a field vice president. But, you know, they don't believe in me because I'm crazy. And they don't believe that they can do it or that something can work because they were never taught how to believe. But you see, when you do it, not Weber, not Frank Kiefer, not Tom Holden, but when you do it, that ruins it all for them. Now they got to believe because you made it. You understand how powerful that is? But here's the funny thing. You don't do it by you wanting to be successful. You got to get outside of yourself and make it all about making them successful. And in making them successful, you automatically become successful, and you demonstrated that it worked, and now they can believe, and so does everybody else. Do you want to do that? It's a lot of fun. But it's not about you. It's about finding two people that we make it work with. So the catch is, you have to find the people who have a dream that want to do it. That's the catch. So how do you do that? Okay? Well, you got to change what you're doing, because if you're not making 6 figures already, you're not doing something that'll lead to the people. Does that make sense to you? Does that logic make sense? Okay? So the business works. There's no doubt about it. It's been proven. There's too many people that made it, 300, 400 millionaires, right? You're not doing something, and you need to discover what it is. So you have to change what you're doing. Are you willing to try to change? If you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, you're going to get the same result. I got to get through to you, okay? Unless you're lucky. Now, I'll tell you, every once in a while somebody gets lucky because they can come in a power leg and it is rolling. So they have one leg and there's so much excitement they accidentally get another person in. It goes along for a ride. So they end up making 6 figures, but I don't know if they can do it again. It's okay to be lucky. It's part of life. It's just unfortunate that we weren't lucky. So we got to find the secret. You don't want to depend on luck. That's my point. Are you getting that? Now, there's something that you're not doing that I do. Because somehow I knew none of these people, and I found them, and they all make 6 figures, nearly 7 figures, and they found a whole mess of other ones. What's the difference? There's got to be a difference. I'm not that good. I had nothing back then. Are you getting this? So this is guaranteed to work. It's mathematical. My process is mathematical. You see, the law of probability works in your favor with large numbers. And what I set in motion carries in motion, and it's a process of people leading to people before they get in. They can't even get in unless they lead to people. They don't qualify. Okay. What does that say?
Why would you want to get anyone in who can't lead to the right people who want to do it?
Did you hear that? Why would you want to get anyone in who can't lead to the right people who want to do it? That leads to residual income, that wants residual income. Why would you want to get them in? What good does it do? Tell me. Well, how many people have you signed up, gotten in, that don't lead to the right people? I know if they're going to lead to the right people before they get in. Because to get in, they already led to the right people. You don't take the first person in on a sports team, first person in on a big company to hire a vice president. You go through a lot. They got to qualify. But now, you'd be so good at this, you got to do it. Here's the next question. Why would you let anyone in that will not use the products and lead to customers? Why? Why? It's just that simple. You have to stop getting people in. Okay, so this is a process of people leading to people. It's so easy to do. I don't care how much you stink, how awkward you are, how mentally constipated you are. I don't care if they think that it's one of those. What do you mean one of those? Oh, one of those MLM things or whatever? You know people in that? Wow, we got to save them. You catch that one on the way home. Look, you got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Everything to gain and nothing to lose. I'm going to show you how to become a hopeless success. I mean, take a look at Ben Ginder. People look at him and say, how did he make it? I said, I don't know, but if he can do it, anybody can do it. He's a smart guy because he knows how to lead the people and get those people to lead the people. Love Ben. There's a method to the madness. See, people, when you make it, because you're not supposed to make it, when you make it, they're going to talk about you. How did he make it? Well, I don't know, but if he can do it, anybody can do it. So everybody joins. Would you like that to happen? So I'm going to talk fast because I got a lot of ground to cover. Can you listen fast? You sure? Okay. So I got to get you out of the chicken coop. And we got to fly away after this event in a geese formation, a binary V geese procession to the land of residual income. I hope you're ready for that. Get out of the chicken coop. So here's what's been going on for the last 6 months. A lot of you heard about it. You might want to, I hear people say, why didn't I get involved? Well, the chairman's special sessions and the U4 on U4 started a year ago in Boston, New York, Connecticut, and then All In with Elizabeth Weber started in her group. She found out about it, said, get out of my way, JR. I'm ready. And then we did the next series in Florida. Fundamentally, it's about going back to the fundamentals that we built the organization in the beginning and doing, teaching, duplicating the evaluation approach, no decision close, and trial run. The objective is for them to imprint the process by leading to people. Let me give you a good example of imprinting. Duplication is a learned thing. You learn, oh, that works, I am going to duplicate it, but it may not be automatic. Imprinting you don't even know any other way. The best analogy I can make is a child under 3 years old. If they're exposed to a foreign language or the language that they learn, they don't need to learn it. They absorb it automatically. Do you understand that? So people that were brought into business right don't know any other way. It's automatic. But maybe you weren't brought in right. So you're a chicken and we got to change you to a duck or a goose. It's not your fault though. So we hold them accountable and we measure, monitor, adjust and control weekly for 90 days and tweak it and coach it weekly. By actually doing it and measuring it, which means you have to be accountable, we're able to correct what's not right so that you get good at it. Is this making sense to you? By the way, the reason I'm sitting down is I get so excited about this stuff that I go off on a tangent and get all excited and lose myself in you, and you suck it out of me. And I spent 30 minutes on something I was supposed to spend 1 minute on. I just did it right there. I got to sit back down. So it's experiential learning. You can't learn this business. You have to experience it. And when you experience it and it works, it's over. Because that's what you'll do. Now, we just started doing it with people who reached out and were ready. Now, I'm going to show you everything we do. And you can actually do it, but you got to get a group together. It has to be done in a team. I might not be able to be at every one of them, but there's other people that you can team up with and do the same accountability, measure, monitor, adjust, and control, and use the same techniques, and we'll jump in wherever we can. I'll get with the top senior partners in your leg making 6 figures and say, you got one doing it, man. Diamond in the rough. If you don't want them, give them to me. Okay. So here's what it comes down to. It came down to the methods to get people to lead to people before they qualify and are accepted into the business or sign up. They have to see it 3 times, and they must qualify. The reason they got to see it 3 times, I tell them. First time you see it, it'll create more questions than it answers. Second time you see it, you'll see things that you didn't see the first time. And third time you see it, if you're right for it, fireworks will go off in your brain because you'll be seeing ways that it will work for you, and then we can test it out and make it happen. Does that make sense? So they already know that they're not going to be able to get in that night. So they have to see it 3 times. The final step of the qualification is to get some people to evaluate it. We start with their easiest 10 to 20 and do it with them. And, if need be, it's best to practice a 3-way call for the first 10 or to do it with them so that those people don't blow them out. They're their best people, but they're really not their people. They're not their people. They're your people. That's how I got Dennis. That's how I got Elizabeth. That's how I got the Bowlings. That's how I got Rick Hannon. Oh, he found me from a past thing, but I didn't go after him. He led to the Chinese, and he led to Phil Guido. Lucky guy. It wasn't luck. He did it. So we call this the pattern, which is the evaluation approach, no decision closed, trial run, qualifying people into the ABC pattern. And it's imprinting, the imprinting process in the business that results in becoming a hopeless success. This is the funny thing about it. If you become a goose, you're in the V formation and you're flying to residual income. You don't even know how it happened. Okay? So that's what imprinting is. Allegorically, the geese rather than the chickens or the ducks. Now, this is done in small teams or as partners. It's very lonely out there. If you haven't made it and you try to go out and do this on your own, it's very unlikely that you're going to stay with it. I'm telling you this now. Are you going to listen to me? Okay? So you have to find a partner or you get a team. I got to tell you one thing that Elizabeth and I discovered. I really discovered it. There are people out there that are a diamond in the rough, the type of person that I wish I could find. They're so passionate. They want it so bad. They go to everything. But they're all alone out there, and they don't have any credibility. And you got 5,000 coming up the leg, and you think it's a cooked leg. Boy, are you in for a surprise. They're hardly making it, and it's not going to last. And that's going to atrophy and go away. I mean, I wish that you would put them in your other leg that's doing well, or give them to somebody. I mean, do something good instead of letting them slowly die a slow death. It's not fair. It's not right. Look down on those people. That's what you look for your whole life. Get with them. I don't know if I'm talking to the choir, But at any rate, I promised myself I wouldn't beat you up too bad. Okay, so what number am I on? 2? Huh? We call this a pattern, which is evaluation approach. And notice it enclosed trial run, qualifying people into the ABC pattern. It's imprinting process in the business that results in becoming a hopeless success, and allegorically in the geese procession. This is done in small teams. Okay, that's where I was. There are requirements, and the first of which is to have a list of 100 acquaintances to call to evaluate it. The first 10 to 20 mentioned above that you started with are part of the 100. Now look, with the age of social media has proven in valuations beyond any reason of doubt, billions of dollars into this. It's an absolute fact. The average person knows 300 people, out of which 100 are friends that they could call immediately. Do you get that? Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Where's your list? Next convention, you got to bring your list with you. You don't get in. It's a ticket plus the list. Is that fair? I know you don't got the list. I'm not going to embarrass you, but why not? Oh, you're too big for it. You've been around for 3 years making $1,000 a month. Whoopee-doo. Bring the list. Phase 2 of this is naturally becomes the prospecting, not recruiting. And it's a process of developing relationships, of conversations, listening to their wishes and pain, and then dancing with them, with the themes. If they like to dance, they'll be back. And when its time is right, having them evaluated to see if they know the right people. Not get them in, evaluate it to see if they qualify, to see if they know the right people, because we just said we don't want to get anybody in that can't lead to the right people. Right? Okay, it starts the same process over again automatically. Phase 2, I just did that. The 5th thing, beginners do evaluation calls, 2 evaluation calls per week. 2 per week. In the beginning, I let them get away with just calling, because they're not going to do 2 evaluations, show the plans, if they're not even calling 2 people a week. Does that make sense? I don't want to scare them off. Let them have some success. Do it with them. And we quickly moved into 2 possibilities to evaluate the plan that is doing the minimum to succeed. That is the minimum to succeed. If you can't do that, you ain't on the team. Let me give you your money back. You need to get out. You're going to embarrass me and run around town saying, oh, it didn't work. No, you don't work. Let me make it clear. Before it happens, everybody follow this? I mean, come on, 2 per week to make 6 figures a year? What are you so busy doing? You go to work, you drive an hour to work, spend 8 hours a day getting beat up, blamed for everything that goes wrong and no credit for what goes right. And then you come home and you do it again and again. And I'm saying, to get out of all of that, all you got to do is call 2 per week. And if you fail, we're going to help you because something's wrong. We'll do it with you. And you won't do that. Or will you? Because that's what it takes That's going to work and market America. You're not in if you're not doing that. Okay, so the key is to do 2 per week for 52 weeks. Just 2 a week. 2 a week times 52 is 104. Oh, well, that's 4 extra. Yeah, well, you can send them back. And out of that, you're going to get 8. I don't care how bad you are, how incompetent you are, how mentally constipated you are. You know, I know you want to do it, but I just can't get it out. Okay? 2 a week. Then phase 1 is where we make a list of 100 possibilities out of the 300 current acquaintances. It's proven that the average person knows 300. We start with the top 20 for the trial run and then continue with a list of 100. Usually when you take on your first people, they're not the best. Just like a sports team. First guys out on the field aren't always the best to win the championship. You got to find others. You start a company, you go through people. You hire some people, they don't work out, they're not that good, you want to grow, you get some other people. Why do you stop at 2? Why? You tell me why. The plan was not designed to do 2. You get activation, ejaculation. Oh, I'm so excited. I activated. I got 2. So what? That's the starting line. We're in a race. You're revving up the engine. You let out the clutch and floor, you wheel out, and you stall out. That's the worst thing you can do, idiot. The whole plan was designed to be able to do what I had to suffer with for years of building 10, 20 legs. Last company I was with before this, I built had to hit a pin level, 35 legs. Had to be over, same 35 people, had to be over 6 months in the year. So they had to do more than 5 because they had to make money. 35, same groups, 6 months. I was the top pin level. And Amway Crown Ambassadors have 25 for 6 months in a row. Holy moly, it's probably 50 grand a leg. And you can't do 2? Of course, the whole science and miracle of the 2 is if we do what we did there and put them down, you make money fast, and so do other people make money, and you eliminate the age-old antagonistic problem of width versus depth. You have to build width for profitability, depth for security. You're doing them both at once. A miracle. We created the miracle, and you're crapping on it. Right, Frank? It's a miracle. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to beat you up. You'll get 8 go nows. Now think about it. 10 in a leg, 10 in a leg. They all have 100. That's 1,000 people. Out of that 1,000 going through them, you're going to find 2 directors. And they're going to be making money. Okay? And you're secure and successful. And irritating your neighbors and telling your relatives to shut up. You get this? Okay, I'm sorry I wasn't supposed to take that long. Now, the funny thing is, when we went back into work and the whole thing started to happen, and you know, I think you all know it takes 6 months for a year for it all to materialize, but people are growing. Right, Elizabeth? They are really growing like we did in the beginning. Went back and listened to some tapes from the beginning, and it just floored me. These esoteric, Dead Sea Scroll, you know, wisdom tapes of what makes it work, where we were actually teaching and doing it in the first years of the company, and all these people came from that. So what were we doing is becoming a pro, 90-day fast track. Becoming a pro is 1993. 90-day fast track, 1998. Methods of the Madness, there was several of them, but 1998. Basic 5, the first year in that, where I put the microphone in that cup, and the Jaworski Country Club with Dennis and Kevin. That is the 10 commandments of the business. That is the gospel. That is the word of JR that made it work, and many other people who have proven that it works. It's infallible. I recommend that you go back and listen to it. But here's the funny thing. On the 90-day fast track tape, Elizabeth is telling me that I remember when, in the old days, it's 1998, right? In the old days, we used to call the people for them. We would do 3-way calls. We'd get their list. We'd call them and then do the meeting. Now we're doing 10, 3, 2, 10, whatever it is, 10, 3, 2, and getting them to invite the people to the UBP or the second look or the kickoff meeting. And we're not getting the same results. We've got to go back to calling them with them, because sometimes they get blown out by the people, and they're the best people, and they're really our people, so we should be calling them because we get the people. Woo! We did it again and hit records for a few years. So the proof is in the pudding. And there's another cliche. Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. And maybe we're so deep in the forest, beautiful forest, that we can't see the trees and we've lost our way. And we need to backtrack to find out how we got here. And that's what we're doing. And I just want you to know that that verifies it. Does that make sense to you? So I want to teach you how I built the business and the keys of becoming a hopeless success in the business. I like to call this, becoming a hopeless success, because it really is that simple. You don't know why it worked or why it worked this time. It's just something that works, and when we do it together, you don't really need to learn it. It just happens. So because of that, you're the benefactor of it. You're a hopeless success. How many people want to be a hopeless success? Yeah, so I hope to give you an awakening of how to build the business, teach you what I found to be the key to the success in the business and getting people to lead the people first. And that there is a no decision close. See, I make the business work by making it work before they make a decision. And that's how I built the whole company. No decision close, evaluation approach, follow-up, and trial run into the ABC pattern, and people leading to people, which actually is imprinting. So when they were hatched, they only knew the way I did it. And the funny thing about the business is, however you were brought in, it imprints. And you will always go back to it and try to do the same thing. Even though it's illogical, you know that it won't work. Because you're a chicken, and you do what chickens do. It's really hard, and I really understand it. You hear me? All the logic in the world will not compel you not to want to do that, because it's neural. It's like being born in an Italian family. You speak Italian, not English. It's like being born in a Mandarin family. You speak Mandarin, not English. When you go to learn English at 8 or 10, it's hard, or vice versa. But if you're just exposed to it, it automatically is worse. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so you got an excuse, great excuse. Your sponsor hatched you as a chicken. I'm sorry about that. There is a way to change it, though. So this is not recruiting. It's prospecting, qualifying, sponsoring. By the way, if I don't get done, I just will go on. I'll stop, and we pick up after lunch. So not recruiting. Prospecting, qualifying, sponsoring, and building hopeless successes. Some call it recruiting. I call it relationship building, possibilities, and qualifying to sponsor. So I'm building relationships first, and we end up dancing. with the themes. One theme leads to another one. And I don't pick them up right away and do the dirty dance thing with them, scare them off. I don't tackle them, you know? And so we're just really making friends and investigating and qualifying them, and we'll end up getting 4 to 8 that we sponsor that are already leading to people that want to do it. Does this make sense? So it's to reconnect and look where you're at and what's happening. So I got to reconnect with Steve Harris, with Andy Dokas and Jody Dokas and Carl Eklund and Goods, and I mean a whole lot of people. Tom Pasternak, who's a personally sponsored leg, and I don't give him any attention. I'm guilty of the same thing you are. But I did something about it. And they're ripping it up. So, at any rate, determine what's missing and what needs to be done. What is missing that you're not hitting pin levels? Now, you might be satisfied making $500,000 a year. Okay, well, maybe it's time to have some fun. Do it one more time for fun, because we had a lot of fun. And just get one more. Show everybody. Okay, so we look for 1 or 2 places in an organization to start over from scratch somewhere. And we build 1 or more legs. It could be down in a leg that needs help, but we start somewhere. And who can we involve upstream or downstream to help? Because you need a team. You can't do this without a team. Regardless of how small it is, big it is, upline, downline, you can even do it cross-line if you reciprocate. And what do? We have a 90-day commitment. We update and report weekly on forums, which I'm going to show you. We have a weekly team conference call. They email or text upline or JR, Weber, Andrew Weissman, when they have questions or things are happening, and we tweak it with them. And sometimes we'll get on the phone with them. We'll actually be on the phone at the meeting to get it right. Okay? Weekly updates and reports, Facebook private groups so that everybody is chattering about what they did, and we can comment and give suggestions. They can see the success. We even do meetings in the hottest spot. And then 3 months later, we have a graduation. And then we go over their UFO level, an action plan to hit a pin level, and they want to do another 90 days to hit a pin level because now they're growing and got it going, and they can see it. We do that. The primary objective is to get the pattern with the evaluation approach started again, and to try to form teams that'll do it together. Basically, it's priming the pump again. I do all these demonstrations. I don't think you understand what they really mean. When I shake the bean jar, what do you think I'm doing? Shaking the bean jar to find nuts? No, that's the process. If somebody knows 300, and out of that there's 100 in the bean jar, and I'm going to shake it, the nuts come to the top, and they have another bean jar, and another bean jar, and another bean jar. Shaking all them bean jars, I'm going to get a director. For me, not for them. It ain't their bean jar, it's mine indirectly. Ha ha. Catch that one on the way home, huh? Okay. Okay, so have fun. Oh, in the process, because you become better at this, you're learning how to dance. You're doing it with people that we're doing the evaluation technique, and I'm right there to help you, but you learn how to dance. So now as you go through life in your daily routine and meet people in the lobby of your place or a restaurant, and you get in conversations, okay, you learn how to dance, and you're having so much fun and they're so loud. Like Elizabeth, we used to go to Ocean City, New Jersey. We walked down the boardwalk. This girl was loud. Hey, how you doing? Hey, it's a great day. Hey. Who is this? He says, what do you do? He says, I teach people how to make $2,100 a week. By the time we got into the boardwalk, she had a stack of cards that big. Enthusiasm. People get caught up in how excited you are, how cool you are, or what you're doing. Have fun. You must have fun. So, what was taught, learned, and happened, all is in those 3 tapes. If you go back to it, we're putting it up with a special link so that you can stream them or download an MP3. I think that you will have a renaissance. Maybe you'll even be born again in the business. You can be born again in the business. So it's the Holy Grail, the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know, we had double-digit growth back then. Double-digit. We doubled for 3 years in size. And that's where all you guys came from. What happened? Some people that became geese stopped migrating to residual income. Residual income they have, but you got to migrate. That's why you're a geese, to the warm weather, great environment, no danger, the best food, the residual income life. You got to come back to convention, to World Conference. You got to go out and start a leg once in a while and do it together. Why? You're making plenty of money just to have fun and to imprint the other geese. Imprint the other geese. Because if they don't know how to do it, they become ducks or chickens. And one day you come to the event and everybody's a chicken. Make sense? Okay, so what has happened in these special chairman and all-in sessions? Well, we experienced and observed the same things that 95% of the people had no idea of how to get people to lead to people or the evaluation approach. They didn't have a clue. They just tried to get people in. Oh, I'm in something great. You need to get in. The leaders who made money early did these things, or we did them with them, and they made a lot of money and forgot to imprint or duplicate it with the UFOs that followed later over the years, did not experience it or do it, and they got lost. So they were hatched amongst a bunch of ducks and chickens because you weren't there. They don't know how you made it. So what do you end up with? A bunch of chickens in a coop that don't know what to do. Huge mistake. So not qualifying people and signing people up before they lead to people who will get others to evaluate. I mean, you know, Frank Kiefer did it different. He would get real strong, experienced, dedicated people. They already had people that in their network. So when we got one of them, it was the same thing. But if you weren't Frank Kiefer, you'd be like Ben Ginder and go park your expensive car in their driveway at dinner time so they couldn't get out and go in and talk to them and tell them that you have a way where they can use their current business or their influence to make a lot of money because they have the connections. But if you aren't like that, we got to do the evaluation approach right from the scratch. You follow this? So it's going back to the basics and what we did in the beginning. We were amazed to find the esoteric code or the holy grail of what always works and made it work in the beginning and in the fastest growing years in these 3 or 4 tapes. Now, you know, when I went to Dennis, there was a fraternity brother who was a big shot in real estate, who knew a pharmacist, who knew a hockey player, Schultz or whatever, who knew Vince Papali. There's a couple other people in there that got me to Dennis. So, you know, I called him up, and, you know, he wasn't interested in doing anything. He already made up his mind he was going to say no, but I needed him to evaluate it because of his experience. And he may know the right people. And I know you're busy doing all these other things, but I sure would appreciate it as one entrepreneur to another if we could sit down for 30 minutes. We met in a real estate office. I scribbled out the plan. I did such a terrible job that he had to rewrite it. He asked me, where are the products? I said, we don't have any yet. He said, how can we do this without any products or literature? I said, that's what you're for. You guys think I'm joking? Look what he led to. Are you getting this? So you don't know the people right now. So it was developed by doing this over 40 years, guys. Worked and succeeded 4 times. It's the only way I know how to do it. And every time it led to 6 figures and many people making 6 figures. But if I do it with someone, it's not up to them. It just happens. They're my clay. They're my material. I work through them to lead to the people, and they end up being very successful, and they imprint. It's the only way they know it. They don't know it any other way. Are you listening to this? Frank Kiefer evaluated it in Sheraton, Tyson's Quarter. Boy, he evaluated it too. You know what I mean? Frank Kiefer, he gave me a hard time, and I passed the test. You guys with me on this? What if I didn't go? Tony and Pam weren't strong enough to do it. But he's mine as much as theirs. Are you guys getting this? Am I getting, is a light bulb coming on? I mean, you know. So we're seeing and experiencing a recommitment from leaders and pioneers to do it again one more time. Lisa Grant, all on her own, but man, Andy and Jody Doak and Steve Harris about legacy. He says about legacy by age, I forget what it is, 65 or is it 60? I am going to have another 3 legs qualifying. I'm going to be hidden field vice president, and I'm going to have a legacy for my children. That's a great reason, Steve. You follow this? What's your reason? So at any rate, there's 5 things you got to do to be in the club. You can't play on this court, can't play on this field, unless you do these 5 things. That's the rule. Right, Elizabeth? No exceptions. First, evaluation approach to secure 2 presentations per week. Possibly a list of 100 or more. Where's the list? Call approach 4 or 8 a week to get 2 to evaluate it. Now, I got to tell you that in the beginning, Kevin, I'm soft. I just want you to call 2 people. You call 2 people, you don't get results, I'm going to call them with you. Because you're never going to get to 2 plans yourself if you can't even get 2 people to listen. Does everybody follow that? Once we get that going, then I want you to, you're going to learn to show the plan because we show it together, and I do the commentator routine where I have you show part of it and I add in. Pretty soon, you're rocking and rolling. You're really good. Okay, 104 evaluations will result in 8 or more go-nows, imprinting, and leading to people over the year. 2 a week, 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 2 a week. I'll stop at 52. 2 a week, 2 a week, 2. That's 104. What happens when you have a whole 10 people in a leg that bring in 8 go-nows? What happens? Come on, you've been around. It avalanches. Everybody that made it, listen, everybody that made it had a period of time in their career in Market America, in their history, that people were coming in so fast they didn't know what to do. It was out of control. They went berserk. They didn't have any time for family reunions or school reunions or tic-tac-toe. They were passionate. They went crazy. They lost their mind. Such a terrible thing. 20 years later, they still got a residual income 6 figures or bigger from that 90 days of craziness. I'm telling you, ask them. I'd like to know who the liars are. Ask them. I know the ones that I know it happened. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Why did you stop? Okay, be a product of the product. Use the products consistently and correctly to obtain a positive experience. So I'm pushing them products. It's, hey, the 3 F's. Okay, I have this problem, or I see a problem. I say, I know how you feel. Okay, I felt the same way because I had the same problem. Then I found out that this makes my knee work. You follow? Use your belief in the products to provide product solutions. Convert all spending into earning by buying everything from your own business. If you didn't understand what Mark was talking about, I think that, we need to give you a mental enema. You're just shopping. It's all about now earning BV checks, IBV checks. Because we're moving, you go after those first to get 300, and then next year that 300 is going to be 600 for the same $3,000 that you spend over 3 months. Meaning you only need 8 to 10 people to be earning a check. If you have, I'll show you the chart tomorrow. It's amazing. Anybody who is a professional coordinator will be earning a check. Anybody that is a national supervisor will be earning weekly. And anybody that's a director will be maxed out. It's just a numbers game. Do you understand that? Well, I guess you don't. Practice the script. Practice the script. When you do this business, it's like being an actor. There's a script. And don't you think actors practice the script, memorize it? So you practice the script of the evaluation approach, and you have a reason that would make sense to them why you are contacting them, because they may know the right people. Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense to them, it's not going to work. It's the area they're from, it's their personality, it's that they're into internet shopping or whatever, a reason for each one. 3, get them to see the plan. 2 or more people per week. That's what we're working toward. I don't say show the plan. I say get them to get 2 people to see the plan. And then within 3 months, we'll have them showing the plan. Does that make sense? I don't want anything to stop somebody from leading me to their people. You with me? You're not with me. Okay, so I really say get 2 people to see the plan and book a follow-up. And in that process, you'll be showing the plan. That's all that matters to me. You must have purchased a minimum of 3 tickets. Okay? Why? Let me tell you a story. You hear all these, what do you call them, profiles up here. Let me tell you a story about why this is important. I was 21, just got out of college, found out about entrepreneurism, went to a seminar about residual income, and it ended up being Amway. I didn't even know it was Amway until I was making money. At any rate, okay, I wanted to be successful because I can't tell you what it takes too long to explain what I just went through and why it clicked in my brain and why I was passionate about wanting to become an entrepreneur. I'll tell you in the close. So I found the top guy, who he was. And I tried to make an appointment, and he wanted to see me. I had to jump through all these hoops. I had to do a meeting, I had to do this. I had to be willing to buy tickets and whatnot. So I went to his house, finally got there, big motorhomes, all this, show and tell. And the guy says, what's your goal? I said, my goal is to break 3 directs off in 90 days. He said, that's rarely been done. How do you expect to do that? You're wet behind the ears, nobody will listen to you, you have no credibility. I said, well, you tell me what I got to do. He says, you're going to have to get at least 100 people to the seminar, to the rally they used to call them, so that they see other people that are successful, okay, and they learn what to do. I said, okay, I'll do it. He said, well, if you're really going to do it, you don't have to say you're going to do it. Just say you're going to, do 1,500 this month. Or I said, no, that's not what it's about for me. I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to set records. He said, okay, you need 100 tickets. Now, they were $15 back then, or I can't remember. So I had to write out the check. I didn't have the money in the bank account. I sweated through 2 pairs of underwear on the way home. Lauren says, why were you wearing 2 pairs of underwear? I say it's a saying, I got home, I went over to my first guy, Joe Caviccia, I went to high school with. I said, Joe, you're in the business with me. I'm breaking 3 directs off, and Stan said I had to get the tickets. Dexter said I had to get the tickets. I got the tickets. He says, well, you ain't passing me by. You ain't doing it without me. I said, well, you probably just do 4,000, 2,500. It's okay. Okay, but I'm breaking through. He said, no, man, I'm going to do it. I said, well, he said we have to have people there because we're wet behind the ears. We have no credibility. Nobody will listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about. And that's the best way to get it going. He said, so I got 100 tickets. He said, well, you ain't passing me by. I said, well, I got the tickets right here. You can get 50 of them. Listen to me. Okay? He bought 25. I got out of his house and said, only 75 more to go. It was burning a hole in my pocket. All right, you said, did they all show up? No, they didn't all show up. Did we sell all the tickets? Most of them. But what about the 50 people that did show up? Huh? And I set records. I went emerald, went pearl, 3 directs in 90 days. I was a hot kid, the hot shot. Do you understand this? By accident. I wasn't any good. It was imprinting. That's why you hear about it so much. I'm a goose. And that's the way I fly, man. You get it? I don't know any other way. I know that it works. You won't get your tickets, you little duck. At least you're a duck. You got a lot of chickens at home. I don't think many ducks come to these things. I mean, chickens come to these things, mainly ducks. You go home a goose. Okay. Measure, monitor, adjust, and control personally. This is so important. You need to know in order to believe, in order to be willing to work, that it's really going to happen. To do that, you have to know exactly how it's going to happen. You need to know exactly what you need to do each month, each week, and each day, and each leg, and who's going to help you and who's going to work where. And we work that out and figure it out. I ain't working with you when you don't know where you're going and you don't know how to get there. So we use a weekly trial run tracking form. I want to see that they're doing evaluation approaches, and those evaluation approaches led to other evaluation approaches. And those evaluation approaches led to another evaluation approach, and guess what? You're doing a trial run now, didn't even know it. And then that leads to another evaluation approach. Oh, guess what? We're doing the ABC pattern all of a sudden. You can't do the ABC pattern. This person gets a person in, this person gets a person in, and you say, that's A, that's B. That's not the ABC pattern. The ABC pattern is people who are evaluating and do trial runs lead to others, and it works, so now they become involved, and that's ABC. And we're all doing it together. We're all there at every meeting, having fun. You screwed it up. Makes me want to cry. Can we just do it again? One more time? Please? Have fun. I didn't stop doing it. So the tracking forms, it has a purpose though. I'm coaching them. When it's not working right, there's something missing. Let me get in there and do it with you. Get the people on the phone. We'll do a FaceTime live at the meeting. I got to see what's happening. Elizabeth went back in the trenches. Jason, Helen, and Elizabeth, woo! It feels good like I knew it would. So then you must have an action plan. An action plan outlines exactly how I'm going to cover every leg as it branches out. Who's going to take each leg? And we're working together to do it. I mean, I got to speed up, so I'm not giving these things enough time. Establish a UFO level in the business that they want to hit. The way I succeed is by making other people succeed. And by them understanding how they're going to get there and it being a goal and believing it and knowing that I'm working with them to do it with them, okay, they accept it. And as a result, they perform and they take on responsibility and leadership and we make it happen. It's an experience. But if I don't know any of this, I just sign them up and they go off, nothing's going to happen. So these are the forms. They exist. You want to do this, you can do it too. Okay? So we're watching exactly what happens. They fill them out. It doesn't matter. They're just starting somewhere. This is great. They got 2 evaluations, 1 in each leg. I'm going to do it with them. Wow, that could be my director right there. Are you getting this? They're my people. Thank you. Don't tell them this, but they're really my people. They're not their people. Yeah, they'll get credit for it. When they start making checks, they can call them their people, but in my mind, they were my people. And they are my people until I'm making $3,600 every week on that leg. Do you understand that? So stop looking at them as their people. They're all scouts bringing you players. And you want the best ones. You see? That's what we do. So look, here's what happened at the end of 90 days. Look at this. This is Team All In. We did the same thing with the other group, but Andrew didn't track it as well. So we didn't have the chart, but the same thing happened. He did a good job. Andrew, you did a good job, but you didn't aggregate it and accumulate it into a comparative report so everybody can see where they stand. It's kind of like a silent challenge. But look at the results, 1,428 evaluations. How many do you have going in your group per 90 days? This isn't our whole group. This is just a couple legs where we chose. You watching this? You know, 101 new preferred customers. There's an error in the spreadsheet on one of them, but who cares? Okay. Trial runs, 116 trial runs. You know what that means? That's more important than the number of people sponsored, because the process is multiplying. What they set in motion carries in motion, and people are leading to people every day, and there's a team working it. Do you understand that that's the essence of this? That's success. That's performing at an Olympic level, and that's what we want. And that's how we get it going. I mean, new UFOs, 305 in 90 days. Do you have that going on? You know? Team evaluations. Everybody's having evaluations. And when they're not, there's usually a reason. Timing's everything. We'll go pick it back up. Don't punish anybody for having a problem. So if somebody's working with me, I want to know what their vitals are. It doesn't matter if they're bad. It doesn't matter at all. How am I going to make you healthy or help you if I don't know what's going on? You got high blood pressure, man. You got high sugar. We got to adjust it. In other words, you're not doing anything. You don't have a list. It's okay, though. Okay? You're not a bad person. It's not that the business didn't work. It's not that you didn't work. It's just that we have to get back to some things, and I'll do it with you because you came and were willing to talk about it and willing to look at what we're doing so that we can move on because you want to make it. That's all that counts. Do you understand that? Come on, guys. So this tracking is extremely important. So some people tell me, well, JR, the business is much harder today than when we started. I mean, there's so much stuff, and, you know, it just, when I started, it was easier. Oh, tell me about it. We had to add up our volume on a board. We had to buy ProPack for $600 to figure out what the volume was. Marvin, we had no products. How do you like that? No products. It was easier. You couldn't go in the back office and figure all this stuff out. We have the most advanced, revolutionary back office in the industry. Real time. I mean, maybe that's your problem. You spend all your time there, but not doing this. Products, you know, drops that you put on your arm that made you lose weight, except they didn't work. I'm telling you, some rocks that you put in the refrigerator that made the odor go away. You think it was easier back then? You lost your mind? We rock. We got so many things going, so many systems, so many technologies. so many products. We're the best kept secret in the world. We're the best entrepreneurial home-based opportunity in the world. Nobody holds a candle to us, you know? Maybe the problem is that you haven't done anything in 6 years. That's okay, though. You did it at one time. Do you want to do it again and have fun? Because we found it's the same thing that we did back then that you do now that works 10 times better because we got everything and don't have any of them problems, and we don't have to climb uphill. We ski downhill. Get the skis on, man. You with me? So these are the things that I need to work with somebody. I got to do their physical, their vital signs, summary profile on activity that Andrew runs, so I can see if you're lying about your productivity. I can see what's going on in your group, right? None of this is meant to in any way criticize you. It's only meant to get you well, to help you. Maybe I can get somebody else out of you so that I get another leg qualifying. There's always a selfish motive. You must succeed so that other people can realize their dreams, and you do it by investing all of your passion in their success, and that's all I'm doing. But I can't do it if I don't know anything. Okay, goal statement, their why, a diagram of their organization, and their story. What's your hard luck story? Tell me, I need to know it. And we learn, don't we? We sit there and we listen. Some people have been through some terrible things. You know what? I need to understand that. And I do understand. And my heart goes out to you. And you're here because, you know, you want to figure out what to do. Let's do it, man. I'm with you. I understand it. I get it. I get your problem. You understand that? I actually get it. I'm human too. I feel for you. It's not fair that it happened to you and not other people, but what are we going to do? We can still overcome it. Oh, man, health problems are the worst of all. But at any rate, once I do that, I don't know who is this one. Who is it? I don't know. Who? Well, we take the organization, and this is what I do, right, Elizabeth? Elizabeth is 10 pages long of the plan for her to hit the next level, which we haven't even come up with the name yet. But she will regain this year her highest income level, PIN level. This year. It's already happening. The writing's on the wall. It's impossible for her to fail because it's figured out. And we have it going. So let me tell you something. We've all hit our highest level, and we've slipped from time to time. You don't think that happens in business? You don't think that happens with companies? You don't think that happens in sports? Let me tell you something. Roger Bannister broke the world record running the mile in 4 minutes. The medical community said it would never happen because it was humanly impossible. The human frame was not made to do it, and your heart would jump right out of your mouth. But he did it. He did it, and it changed everything. He set the standard, just like she hit the highest level, field president. She did it very, very fast, whatever the title is. Extragalactic UFO, ruler of the world. But at any rate, you know, Roger Bannister did not run the 4-minute mile every time he raced. In his entire career, he did it only 4 times. But he did it, and the greatest victory was when he did it the second time. And the greatest of all was the third time. And the greatest of all was in the Olympics the 4th time before he retired. There's a lot of great boxers out there. To me, one of the greatest boxers is Lennox Lewis. And I'll tell you why. I know Mayweather's great, but he eventually will lose. If you keep fighting, you will eventually lose. Because everybody wants to pick off the top guy. And you won't have your best day every day. Just like you in the business, no different. So why would you be criticized for slipping a little bit? But Lennox Lewis avenged every fight. He lost 3 times and came back and beat those guys. That's the big victory. I want you to have that big victory. We're going to create an award level for people who regain their title, regain their belt. Because it's hard to hit another pin level when you slip the leg. But now when we get this going back, it's going to come back. And we'll fill this stage with people that redid it. That redid it. So it's an honor, not a disgrace. You understand that? You like that? You want that? Okay, so I'm way behind. Okay, so look, I don't know what you want, but in the business, the way it works is that it has unlimited power to derive any level of income, to make any dream come true. It's unlimited. Market America essence, the power of the plan. Listen to me. It's like a liquid, a fluid. It doesn't have any specific form. Are you hearing this? You really need to hear it. It is a liquid. It is unlimited. It's bigger than the ocean. It can fill any container that defines a dream, a goal, or what you want. Do you understand that? It'll fill that container. It's what you see, you define, you believe, how you treat it is what it becomes. So if it's doing nothing, it's because that's you. If it's a little teacup, that's fine. That's all you wanted. You're a retailer making lots of money. You should be satisfied. And we shouldn't criticize a person that just wanted a teacup. Right? If it has holes in it and you fill it up, it's going to leak. You've seen me do this. I do so many things to drive the point home, but I don't think you get the point. The point is that the business becomes whatever you decide it will become. What have you decided? Because that's what you're getting right now. It's your fault, not mine. You got that straight? Now, I'd like to change that if you didn't really pick the right container and it was an accident. We're very forgiving. The business is very forgiving. You are allowed to change your mind. You're also allowed to make up your mind. Make up your mind. You see? So all your education, loyalty, all that stuff, success is a relative concept. It's relative. To one person, they need millions. Another person only needs 1,000 per month. Whatever it is, it can attain. But a lot of you have a lot of experience. Let's talk about it. You're educated. You know everything. Well, I'm way behind. I got up. I didn't sit down. Okay, so all of your education, you know what a BS degree is, right? What BS stands for? BS. What's BS? What a bull does in a field, right? MS, you got an MS degree because you've been to leadership schools and conventions and, you know, all advanced trainings and to TLC trainings and product symposiums. You got more of the same. MS. And then some of you have been around for a long time, and you know everything there is to know. Every system, you got a PhD, piled high and deep. But now, let me tell you something. All of that, listen to this now. All that's meaningless. It doesn't matter. Are you listening to me? You guys here? It doesn't add up to a hill of beans. It's worthless. That education and knowledge is meaningless. It won't do anything for you unless you're doing the evaluation approach and the pattern and getting it going so people are leading to people. Then it becomes invaluable. Then you become the wizard. Then you become the guru. But if you don't have that going, it's worthless. Totally worthless. Forget your degrees. Forget your education in the business. If you can't do the fundamental thing that makes it work, it's all worthless. Am I getting this across? So a lot of you like recruiting. It's what most people want to learn about. I don't like recruiting, and I don't recruit. I think you got to get it out of your vocabulary because it has a negative connotation. No one wants to be recruited, and I don't want to recruit or be recruited. So I don't recruit. See, it's not possible for people to not be interested, qualify, and eventually get involved. Okay, so I'm trying to find out what they want, what their pain is, what their wish is, and talking about that and building a relationship and getting into them. And then it comes out naturally. Nobody wants to be recruited into the military, but boy, do I respect the guys that did it. I mean, I don't know what we would do without them. Okay, but I don't even think they wanted to be recruited in it. They did it because they believed in this country and went out and did it. But you see, being recruited is not a pleasant thing. I'm finding people that want this, okay, and showing them a way to become involved and test it out so that it works before they get in. So it's a matter of qualifying. It's a very natural process. There's no getting them in or recruiting to it. It's them leading the people. It's building a friendship. It happens naturally. Are you hearing me? If they don't choose a 2 to 3 year plan, they can't become involved. So now, it's a process. Developing possibilities in my weekly routine. You don't even need to do that yet. You haven't gotten through the list of 100. Why are you trying to find other people? You haven't even gotten through boot camp. You haven't even gotten through grade school. If you do all that, you'll be good at prospecting, to develop possibilities and qualifying them. Okay? And then you're going to be sponsoring them. Sponsoring is a big thing. It's like having a baby. Listen to me, please, very carefully. There's a big difference between showing the plan, somebody being a possibility, and sponsoring somebody. See, I develop prospects or possibilities, that's prospecting. I qualify them, and the ones that are really great end up leading the people first, and then I sponsor them. Sponsoring is like having a baby. It's not easy. It's easier to conceive than it is to deliver, right, ladies? And it takes a while. It takes 9 months. It takes about that in the business too. And it's painful to get them out. And when they come out screaming. They're not sure if they want to be here. You got to comfort them. And you got to take care of it. You can't set the baby out on this step and come back 3 months later. You got to feed them, comfort them. Right, Dennis? You got them grandbabies. Nurture them, give them the bottle, change their poo-poo. I learned about little boys, with Aiden, changing them, got it in the face. You have to nurture them. I don't want to have too many illegitimate children. And a lot of you have left a lot of illegitimate children all over the country or world. You sponsored them and put them out on the doorstep. I'm telling you, sorry. I don't know what to do about it. They'll come knocking on your door maybe someday. And when you find somebody that you led to by this process that is not making it, you have an obligation to come help them. Do something good. Don't just think you can take credit for it and have an entitlement to their volume when you stuck them out on the doorstep. Am I making any sense to you? Okay. The timing is everything. I got my rules about showing the business and sponsoring, and I don't have time. They have to see it, to do it the wrong way. They have to see it 3 times. They have to do an evaluation approach. They have to do a trial run. They have to try some products. They have to lead to some people first. Then I'll have that baby. Does that make sense to you? But it is a big responsibility. So, you know, it's all about, are you a chicken, duck, or a goose? Yeah, I hope so. Recruiting is out. Eliminate the word from our vocabulary. I don't recruit, I qualify. And it's not about getting people in. If they qualify, then they must try out and evaluate it to see if they can lead to the people. And then the true test is a trial run, a tryout, like we're being in a play. A tryout for submitting an application, getting a test done by a company, and being evaluated. You just don't take them on. They got to qualify. Do you got that? I'm not tackling them or going for the jugular vein. And why would you want to bring somebody into the business that cannot lead to people? And who would want to bring somebody into the business or let somebody in the business who won't use the product or lead to customers? Bottom line, why are you doing that? Okay, do we all agree? We will not do that anymore. Say, I will not do that anymore. I will not get people in anymore. I will qualify them. They must lead the people first. Oh, that one bothered you, didn't it? That one bothered you. But why would you want to bring anybody in that can't lead the people first? They shouldn't qualify for your team. Are you getting this? Okay. Okay, so this is the key to it. Where's your list? When I start, we make the list. Okay, 100 people. I have prompts. I have mind ticklers. I help them with it. 100 people. We're going to do 2 a week. We're going to design the evaluation approach, customize it for each person. I'll do the first 10 with you. If you can't do that, find somebody above that will do it. It's the highest and best use of their time. Don't let them tell you they're too busy. Call me. I'll take the call. Right? Okay. 2 a week. Okay. I'm going to do it with them. So you call it recruiting, I call it prospecting and qualify. And you have control over this. And if you're not good at it, that's how we change that. Experiential learning by doing it. We'll do it with you. Are you hearing this? Elizabeth still does it. She goes into the homes with them. She gets on the phone with them. She's making $1 million per year, and she's not too busy. Because she cares about the person. And it gets excited and gets juiced. Has mental orgasms over them getting it going and hitting it. What you have is activation ejaculation. Oh, I got 2 in. Elizabeth showed the plan. She was so good. She just dazzled them, and they signed up. I activated. Well, that's the beginning of the race. The only reason we have activation at all in the 5 steps is because mathematically you need a second leg in order to accumulate volume to get paid. I tried to do it on 1, but it won't work mathematically because you run out of money. You need a multiplier. We figured out how to pay the most money on the smallest amount of production. And it just happens to match with, that's what the average person does under 3. So it's only 2. But that doesn't mean we stop there. We keep putting people down just like we had to do in other businesses. Like they had to do in insurance. They had to do in real estate. They had to do in franchises. They had to do in MLM. Direct sales and network marketing, they're the worst because you got to duplicate it layer after layer after layer until there's masses of asses slamming a lot of mud against the wall, hoping that some of it will stick. We don't have any of that. You just build it down 2 legs. But you don't stop at 2. The whole purpose of that is that we'd all have a common interest. We're all doing that. We don't have to go wide. And it starts to multiply. People hit checks fast. But you activated and got spent. Don't you want to do it again? You didn't get that. You catch it on the way home. So developing relationships, making friends, qualifying, that's the next step. The first step is simply to do the list of 100. You haven't even done that yet, so why are you worrying about other people? You know? But there's another solution. I got to jump ahead here. You guys will get me to the geese takeoff, I hope. I'm not going to recruit anymore. I'm qualifying people. There's 2 phases. The first phase is a list of 100. Work on that. As you do better at that, we will automatically start being good at phase 2 of developing relationships, okay? Listen and learning how to dance, learning the themes, and we'll do it with you. It'll be a very natural process. So let's concentrate on phase 1. Phase 2 will creep up and start to happen anyway. Are you hearing me? But if you don't do phase 1, phase 2 ain't going to happen. You can't go to second base when you hit the ball in baseball. You got to go to first base first. If you go to second base, you're out. Run over the pitcher's mound, dumb thing. So, stage 1, we have control over, and we do together. That's where you get good at it. Okay, stage 2 happens naturally because you're making it, you're excited, you know the themes, you know what to say, and you just dance with people as you meet them. And they see all this excitement and fun going on, and you're just bubbling over. They want to be around you. Okay? So, you all agree that we know them. Now look, you may have thought you were doing it the right way. And I understand that. And it's not your fault. But what if what you thought was the right way was the wrong way? Well, I think I can win the argument. What's your pen level? How much are you making? Even if you are making a lot. When was the last time that you added a group on? Maybe you're doing it the wrong way. Because if you already have a big income, it's almost impossible not to sponsor. I don't know what to do with the people. Right, Elizabeth? I mean, I got to hide. Go to the dentist's office. I mean, the guy's handing me, what's that? Oh, that's shopping annuity. So how's that work? Oh, we got this tracking system that tracks what everybody buys, like social media, but you get a credit for it. He says, well, my wife shops a lot. Hey, I said, can you wait till you get your hand out of my mouth? Okay, so I don't recruit. People can only talk about 3 things. What's happening? For a couple minutes. What's happening? I'm down in the lobby. He talks about the weather, something happened in the city, okay? But then they're either going to complain or they're going to wish. Or I'll ask them a question. They got little kids. Say, your kids go to school? Here, we're looking for a new school. What school do they go to? You just get in a conversation. But it always ends up complaining or wishing. And you want to be a brilliant conversationalist? When they complain, I had to work 60 hours this week. What? Really? They made you do that? Oh, yeah. No, they'll just go on and on and on, and they end up loving you because you listened and you were interested. You don't need to know anything to say. Just ask questions and get into it. Let them tell the story. Right, Elizabeth? Okay. They complain or wish. They're giving me the ammunition, the information that I need to be able to give them a solution and to sit down with them and show them a solution. That's all you need to do.
Hey, JR?
Yeah.
20 minutes till the geese take off.
Okay, see this slide here? See this slide? Huh? You see the slide I'm on? That's where I start in the afternoon. Can we jump to the evaluation and the geese so we get ready? Put me on that slide. The Wizard of Oz is back there. I'm not there. You're not moving me to that slide. Because I don't know what to say without the slide. I wrote the slide. Okay, so it all comes down, I'm going to sit down because I got 20 minutes for us to take off in formation. The evaluation approach leads to qualifying and the no decision close automatically. If you do these things, everything else that you may think is important or that we tell you is important, everything in the basic 5, all these things will happen anyway, naturally. Did you hear that? If you try to do everything that you learn, you won't do anything. This is what you got to start with. Okay, so qualifying can begin with showing the 2 to 3 year plan versus a 45-year plan and making them answer some sweat questions. If they can't understand, the whole thing to me in the plan is if they really understand and choose the 45-year plan. They're not going to understand the rest of it anyway. How many people understand the plan the first time they see it? They might get the gist of it, but the important thing is, do they see this as a way for residual income to get them out of their situation? If they don't see it, why are you showing them the plan? I'll work on this with you more later. But at the beginning, I tell them that they can't get in tonight. You got to see it 3 times. So put your apprehension at the door. Put your wallet away. Okay? You have to see it 3 times. First time, it's going to create more questions than it answers. The second time, you're going to see things that you didn't see the first time. And the third time, fireworks will go off in your head if it's right for you. And that means you qualify if you wanted to do it to see if it'll work for you. I'll do it with you and we'll test it out. Boom. When we do this and we try it out and we test market, why do we test market? Because I don't want them to have to make a decision. We're going to run it up the flagpole and see if some people salute it. If it's not going to work for you, if we can't lead to people, there's no use doing it. Does that make sense to everybody in here? So let's test it out. And I will do it with you. I had this down to a science. Okay? And over the next 90 days, we'll run it up the flagpole. I'll help you contact the people and see if they like it, they salute it. And if we have 2 to 4 people that want to do it and people clamoring to buy the product, there's no decision to make. It already worked. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so they get to experience the product. I repeat the same thing with their people. So when they have people, they have to evaluate it. They have to choose a 2 to 3 year plan. Okay, we have to get some people to evaluate it, and if that works, try some product, and then we'll do a trial run. So it's already happening. They haven't signed up yet. What do they say? Oh, I want to get in. Can't get in yet. One more time. They're qualifying. You can't tell Harvard University when you will be accepted. You don't think this is equal to Harvard University? Very few of them people make 100 to 500 grand a year. Okay, so it's all about qualifying. By meeting them and cultivating relationships, relationships come first. Investigating or interviewing them, finding out more about them, form, family, occupation, recreation, money. Okay? Recreation requires time and money. This leads me to a solution where they should see the business. If they're on your top 10, on your list to evaluate it, okay, there's a no decision close. There's no decision. It's the opposite of recruiting and trying. You get people to evaluate the concept in the shopping annuity or unfranchised system to see if they know the right people. That's why they're looking at it. For them and for you. You don't want them if they don't know the right people, and they only are going to want to do it if they know the right people. So if they do, and you partner, you and your partner show them the plan to see if they know the right people. Okay, so there's a very interesting phenomenon. I was a biologist. It always fascinated me, and it happens in fowl. It's the genetic DNA phenomena found in fowl where they are born or hatched incomplete. A stimuli has to be there in order for them to survive. A stimuli from the mother, which they were in the egg right under, copy what she does exactly, and the other fowl or birds around. There's a pecking order. The better you copy it, the further up you are to eat and get whatever you want. And they peck the rest of the birds to the back. Have you ever heard the pecking order? So those that imprint the best have the best chance of survival and the best life. Okay, they're dominant. Does this make sense to you? Okay, so ocularly, their eyes, okay, their nervous system doesn't complete and imprint, and the neurons connect until this happens. And how well it happens is how well they will get along in life. Is that making sense to you? So people always copy how they were brought into the business, even if it's wrong, and then you teach them correctly and say, I showed it to you wrong, I did it wrong, you can't do it, you got to do it this way. They can't help it. Think about yourself. They always revert back to the way they were brought in. Do you believe that? Yeah. Now, wait a minute. What happens to you? When you think about doing the business, don't you basically do what was done with you? Even though you were told to do it differently, it's very natural. It's a habit. It's more than that, it's imprinting. Okay, so those birds, if they're chickens, when they hatch, know no other way. They're in the coop pecking each other, fighting over the food, all clustered up. In a cluster whatever. In the chicken coop, in chaos. Ducks have a better order. They get their own food one at a time. They go into a binary formation when they walk, and there's reasons for all this. Okay? So this is what happens to a lot of people in the business. When we first started, we had, with this group, a beautiful series of geese V formations, binary formations that gave us extra lift and allowed us to migrate thousands of miles to residual income, and then back to get the residual income the next season. You follow this? But here's what it ended up like. We stopped doing that, and this is an organization. A bunch of chickens running around in chaos and pecking each other. Does it remind you of anything? Oh, come on, laugh with me at ourselves. Okay. Now, when chickens are born, here's what happens. It's in an egg. It comes out of the egg, and it sees its mother so that it can imprint, and the mother bonds with it. So now the chicken gets up, and it follows the mother chicken. You ever see chicks with the mother? They're all around her, in no formation, all confused, but all right underneath her, right? You ever seen this? The mother goes, peck, 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 and they all copy it, right? So here's all the chickens in your coop. They all now know how to peck, but nobody's in any formation. It's all confusion. There is no order. There is no formation. There is no organization. Sorry, that's how a lot of you came into the business. Okay? Now, some people are brought in by a duck. They would like to be geese, but they never knew what a goose does. They only know when they're hatched what a duck does, and it imprints, so they become a duck. It's not that bad being a duck. They have some formation. They're making some money. They have some retail profit, but they really prefer to be a goose. Okay? Okay. Now, ducks. So when I come out as a duck, there's the mother duck, and the mother duck goes like this. Quack, quack, quack. And that's how it learns to eat, and quack. They learn to follow the mother. So when the mother goes, they follow in two lines. And they follow the mother down to the water. And she starts swimming. They copy the mother. Then they learn how to fly. They get in formation, and the mother goes like this. And they fly in formation. Those are your stable people that are trying to go now, that you can get going. But we would rather be a goose, because the goose has it perfected. They have it perfected to be able to go thousands of miles, fly with less effort, be protected, and have the best food. That's residual income, the good life. Okay? They have a big wingspan. And they learned it simply by imprinting and following the mother when they were hatched. They don't have a whole mess of eggs hatched at once, just a few, a couple, so that they can imprint one on the left and one on the right. Now, geese are much more sophisticated. When they come out, they too eat. Honk! And when they walk in almost perfect V formation, binary. Honk! Then she teaches them to fly, and their wings are big. Then they take off. How did they learn to do it? The mother, and don't know any other way. They don't know how to be a chicken. They don't know how to be a duck. They only know how to stay in formation and to be eloquent. Okay? So, the evaluation approach is what we need to imprint to be a goose. You can do it. If you were born a chicken, it's not your fault. If you were hatched a chicken or a duck, it's not your fault. The only way to get out of it, though, is to use extreme discipline and to hatch and realizing that when you hatch an egg, it's going to be a goose if you act like a goose, if you do what a goose does. Are you hearing this? But if you do the chicken stuff, you're going to have more chickens. If you do the duck thing, it's okay. And sometimes a duck can find geese because they already have part of it down and be adopted or follow them and move up. But it's better to come out a goose. So simply ask them to look at this new technology or new concept using the internet marketing to track what people buy and convert their spending into earning. If they or the person that you're having evaluated know or lead to the right person, it could mean some money to you. So just do me a favor and take a look at it and tell me what you think. If I'm crazy, okay, it's okay, but does it make any sense? And if you can lead to the right people, I may have ended up doing you a big favor because it could mean some money to you. We already have this down to, they already have it down to science. I have the connections. I'm tied right into the top people. You know why that's good to do? You're new and you can't explain everything, but you got the connections. They don't believe, my neighbors are just like yours. They don't think I know anything. That's just JR, right? All of our neighbors and friends are like that. But they don't believe that I could show them how to excel at an enterprise and have a residual income and make 6 figures, but they do believe that you could have the connections. So use that in the evaluation approach. It's the opposite of recruiting. Simply ask them to look at a new technology or a new concept using internet marketing to track what people buy and convert spending into earning. It can mean some money to you. Okay? I ran across this through a friend, and it's an internet marketing platform allowing average people to earn significant residual income online. The company or my connection needs some people to get it off the ground in this area or this location. It already is doing billions of dollars in U.S., Canada, and Asia, and there's thousands of people that have made 6 figures or have made millions. I have, if you know the right people, yeah, I can't read it, it's blocking it, okay? You may or may not be interested. I always say that. I know that you're busy. I know that you're going to school. You probably don't have time for this, but you may know the right people, in which case it could mean some income to you for leading to them. It takes 30 minutes to an hour to see an overview. I show the overview, get to the 2 to 3 year plan, and I determine whether I'm going to show the rest of the plan. If I don't have time, if they're in a rush, I book another appointment. So make an excuse for them. Give them a way out so that they don't try to make an excuse. So they're not trying to talk their way out of it while you're talking. I realize that you're busy with going to school and probably didn't. I know you're getting your master's degree, so you probably don't have time. You probably would not be interested yourself in this type of thing, but you're well connected and you probably know the right people in the area. I know that you're digitally oriented, you're into internet, you're into IT. I'd like you to look at this platform to see what you think. To me it appears to rock, but you know more than me. I'd like to show it to you because there's a way that we can use it to make a lot of money. Or you might know the right people. So if they do have someone who might know the right people, you and your partner will show it to them. If they're the right person and they lead to it, it can mean some money to you, some royalties, some residual income. So this is what I say to them. It's the opposite of recruiting. If they're going to question your credibility because you're not that sophisticated, you haven't been around, rely on the fact that you're just getting in or just found it. You want to see what they see, but you got the connections. Is this making sense to you? Can you do that? Rehearse, practice, have fun, do it together, do it with your upline, practice the approach, make up different ones and customize them for each person. Get on 3 ways. You can do this. The trial run definition is a process used to see if someone is right for the business and if the business is right for them, through which they will lead to potential prospects and customers, or in the final process, disqualify themselves. Thank God you didn't qualify. I had so many other people ready to go. I needed more nights to be able to do meetings. Thank God you didn't waste my time. How many people have sponsored somebody that wasted their time for 6 months, a year? I mean, you don't want them. Feel relieved. You find the good ones by disqualifying the ones that aren't qualified. How many people got that? Okay, so you didn't waste your time. We move from person to person, getting each person the opportunity to evaluate it to see if they know the right person or if they have an interest themselves. If they choose a 2 to 3 year plan or the 45-year plan and know some people who would be good at this and that might know the right people. See, it's always not whether they would be good at doing it themselves. Would they be good at it because they know the right people or they could lead to the right people? It's always about leading to the right people. Okay, that repeats over and over and over again. And you will end up with the right people. Do you get that? Okay, so there's the trial run. Repeating it. Okay, so it works best in small teams. You need small teams, right, Elizabeth? You try to do it on your own, it's really hard. It's an uphill battle. Small teams, partners, one-on-ones, two-on-ones are a great way to do it. Take your sponsor with you. Call them up. Ask them to go with you. If they say no, call me. By getting people interested through them or under them, they automatically become interested and committed. I'm going to tell you something. When you do this, when you're trying to convince them, they're hard to convince. But if they lead to 2 people and you show it and they're interested and they lead to people, everything changes. They're begging to get in. They're asking when they can get their kit. You got to wait one more time. You haven't qualified quite yet. Are you getting this? Try it. It's unbelievable how it works. Okay, can I jump to the next goose thing? Because we're out of time. I can pick these things back up after lunch. What's the next one? So I'm going to go over these after lunch, guys. Okay, so there's no sound on this egg. Run it one more time, can you? The point is, now that you know this, even though you were born a chicken, you need to hatch not chickens, but ducks or geese. It's your choice. How do you do that? By doing the evaluation approach, the trial run, the no decision close. Do you get this? You can't hatch more chickens and expect to become a duck or a goose. You got to stop. The only way you can become a goose is to fool the world. I'm sorry that someone hatched you as a chicken. You have to hatch geese. And when you hatch enough geese, everybody thinks you are a goose, because how could you have all these geese in formation following you if you weren't a goose? That's how you do it. So, if we're all going to use the evaluation technique, which you guys have been doing, we're in formation. It becomes automatic. And each person we deal with, we're going to get them to make a list and evaluate it. And we're all doing 100, 2 a week, and we're doing it together. And when we follow up, it's real simple. We're going to have a trial run, right? And we do it as a team, we do it together, and we always book the follow-up because we're geese. And as a result, we make money. So you have to understand that it's automatic. My geese don't know any other way. Some of them may have been chickens, and some of them may have been ducks. But when they hatched, and the birds they hatched, we did it as geese. So, we know how to fly in formation. When we start out, honk, give me my horn. Ready? Now I'm going to fly. Remember how we do this. I trained you. Take off. Thank you. To residual income, residual income, residual income. They're all making 6 figures a year later. Okay. So guys, we'll be back at their lunch. I got my geese. Where's your geese? They all started this process this last year. It's totally turned things around for their business. They're not all making it yet, but guess what? They're starting to grow. They're on their way. They're not with the chickens, and they're not with the ducks. And they're eating like geese, eloquently. They're in formation. We swim in formation, which protects us. So we'll see you this afternoon, and we'll take off in formation for residual income.